Here we go. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. I'm David and you're watching Web Mastery, the show for essential know-how, quick tips and must-have tools to make WordPress work harder for you. So today on the show we're going to be talking about how to manage users in WordPress and specifically how to allow contractors secure access to your site, and as well as how to work with multiple writers and so on. Okay. Um, if you've got topics to suggest that we cover on the show, so you can go to our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/webmasterytv, and post a comment or a question. If you've got a question about this episode, go ahead and leave a comment, and I'll be sure to get back to you. All right. So here's what we're going to be talking about. And the first tip that I want to share with you is to make sure that you always retain admin access to your website. All right. Avoid giving out your own admin account, and instead what you should do is to create new admin accounts. All right. Because if you give out your own and only admin account to the site, the freelancer or contractor that you've shared it with could change the password and then you're locked out, right? So you definitely don't want that to happen. What you want to do is to create a new account for that user. This gives you a bit of a buffer. There's a bit of insurance there to ensure that he's not able to gain control of your site so easily, and you still retain control of your site because you've got an admin account access. Right, so here are the things that we're going to be discussing in today's episode. We're going to be talking about WordPress user roles and how to make use of them to provide access securely to the site. We're going to be talking, and then I'm going to share with you two plugins called temporary logins without passwords and user switching. All right, so these are two plugins that I use frequently and that I find really useful. Okay, so first thing to talk about is the WordPress user roles. And in WordPress, let me just zoom in so that you can see this. Right, so in WordPress we have multiple user roles. Okay, so you can create user accounts, and the user account can have the administrator role, the editor role, author, contributor, and subscriber roles. And depending on the other plugins that you have, let's say you've got WooCommerce, you can also have a customer role. All right, so each of these roles have got different privileges. So if you've got the administrator role, that gives you full access to the site. You're able to log in, you're able to create and edit your own posts, create and edit and delete the posts of others. You're able to change the website settings, you're able to install and manage themes, you're able to add and manage users. If you're administrator, you have full control over the site. You can do anything that you want to the site, including deleting the site. So, and then down from the administrator, we've got editor. The editor is a content editor role, so it's got all of the privileges to manage content. So an editor can edit and delete posts that belong to other users, but they're not able to change the website settings. All right, so an editor is the editor role is a good role to assign to your VA if you want them to create and publish posts on your behalf, and also to deal with comments on the site. All right, and then following that, we've got author and contributor. Those are a bit less useful, but basically if an author is just allowed to publish and edit their own posts, contributor is only able to create posts, they're not even able to publish it, and subscriber is only able to log into the site and have a account That's only useful if, for example, you allow only subscribers to comment on the site. All right. So I'm just going to show you how you can create users on the site. So now we're looking at my demo site. Excuse me. And in the left hand navigation, you'll see a menu item for users. So clicking that brings you to the user screen, and you can see that you've got multiple multiple users on this site already, and you can easily add new users by clicking add new. All right. So here's where you can enter the username and password. So I'm just going to create a username for Jane at example.com, and then you can choose the role that you want Jane to have. Like I mentioned, sometimes with other plugins like WooCommerce, it adds additional roles to the site. In this case, we have also shop manager and customer. All right. So I just want Jane to be an author for now. So fill in the details, and then you can click add new user. Jane will receive an email telling her that she's got a new account, and then she'll be able to follow the instructions in the email to log in into the site. So that's how you create a new user for your contractor or your VA. Instead of sending the user an email, you can uncheck this, and then you can fill in a password. Right, so you can use a weak password, and then Jane will be able to log in with the username Jane and the password. So that's how you do it. Right, I want to show you, I just want to draw your attention here that Colleen on this site, she's an author, so she has access to all 42 of her own posts, but she will not have access to posts created by somebody else. So let's say I'm going to take this most recent post, and I'm going to change the author to David, to myself. So now Colleen will not have access to this last post, but she will have access to all of the other posts on the site. So if I switch to a different browser, and here I'm logged in as Colleen up here, and you can see that Colleen has got a very different user dashboard than I do. She doesn't have all of the other settings here. She's only got access to posts, right? And like I mentioned, she only has access to her own posts, and she doesn't have access to the post created by that's been assigned to me. So this last pepperoni pizza post. Now we can easily switch the user role for an existing user. You can select the user here, and then just click this change role to editor, and then now Colleen is now an editor, and so she will have access to all of the posts, including mine. So just refresh the page, and you see that she's got access to this post now. Okay, so that's in a nutshell how you manage users in WordPress. If you're letting in a web developer into your site, you'll probably want to give them administrator privileges, otherwise they won't be able to modify the settings on your site, add new plugins, and so on. So yeah, that's how you would do it. Another way that you can allow contractors into the site, but this is only useful for once-off tasks and so on, is to use this plugin called temporary login without password. All right, it does exactly what it says on the tin. It allows you to create temporary logins, and there is no password involved. So let's say we go and add this plugin. So I'm just going to add plugins, search for the plugin, and then click install on this plugin. WordPress will download and install the plugin, and then I can activate it. Okay, so now that the plugin has been activated, it will bring you directly to the temporary logins screen, and then here you can create a new temporary login. So just create new login, enter the email of the person you want to share the login with, right? And then so you can set the role of this user administrator and when it expires as well. So you can have this login expire in 1 week, 1 month, or you can set it to expire after the last access. All right, so this is a really useful plugin. Just click this, submit, and then the login will be sent to your contractor. Let me see if I can find an email. Excuse me. Right, so email's not been set up on this site. So but basically Jane will get an email with the temporary login link. I'm going to copy this, going to switch to this browser and log out. Now I just paste the link in, and voila, I'm logged in as Jane, and there's this button here that says temporary access, and that's how you can give somebody temporary access safely. And this is really temporary, and and you don't even have to bother with creating passwords and stuff like that. Just one note that the user can still come in to add new users. Oh, right, sorry, you don't have the use. What I meant to say is that the user doesn't have permission to create new users, and it will not be able to change your password. So if let's say, see, I'm not able to change. I'm logged in as the temporary user, and I'm not able to change the password of other users on the site. So this is definitely a very secure way to do it. If you don't particularly trust the contractor, or if it's a new contractor and you just want to make sure that they are indeed trustworthy, you can use this plugin. Okay, the next plugin I want to show you is this user switching. And user switching is not so much of a user access plugin. It's more of a user management plugin. All right, so what this plugin does is that it allows you to switch to a different user on the site. So I'll just show you how it works. I'm going to go to plugins, add new, and then search for user switching. And user switching, we're just going to install it the same way like we did earlier. Okay, so what user switching does is that it allows you to switch to a different user. Okay, so and this means that you don't even need to know the password of that user, and you're able to switch to that user. So let's say, for example, I'm going to switch into Colleen's account. You can click the link here, or you can go and view Colleen's account and then click switch to. And now you're logged in as Colleen, and I think I've got WooCommerce installed on this site, so you can go into, right, okay, so WooCommerce was installed on the site, but you can then use this you can use this plugin to log in as your user, and then go and troubleshoot. You can view the site through their account to troubleshoot why it's not working for that particular user, and to try to understand what's going on and stuff like that. So this is a plugin I use pretty often. It's activated on clickwp.com all the time, and I find it very, very useful. And then finally, if you want to log out of this user account, you can do so here. Switch back to David, or at the bottom of the page. Right, yeah. So sometimes there's a link right at the bottom of the page. Might be hidden in this theme, but you can always switch back using this. Okay, so there you have it. So there you have it, short and sweet presentation about how to manage users in WordPress. I hope you learned something new today. And if you did, I would love for you to give this video a like. I really appreciate that. And if you've got any questions about what I've shared, or how to manage users, or if there's something that I didn't cover that you want to know, find the video and leave a comment, and I will be sure to get back to you and reply to you in the comments as well. Okay, so in the meantime, right, that's it. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. You've been watching Web Mastery, the show for essential know-how, quick tips, and must-have tools to make WordPress work harder for you. Look for Click WP on Facebook and on YouTube. And if you ever need help with WordPress, go to clickwp.com, and we'll be sure to take care of you. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great Friday. Thanks. Bye bye.